Radio 5 Sports Extra, the Premier League. More live sport, pure live sport. This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Coming up in the next few minutes, the Premier League. Radio 5 Sports Extra is a dedicated station for the BBC's live sport coverage, with a flexible schedule to suit the occasion. Listen using BBC Sounds, both app and online, plus smart speaker, digital radio and smart TV. Radio 5 Sports Extra brings you more live commentary from the world's greatest sporting events. As 5 Live broadcasts one event, BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra brings you something equally important. Uninterrupted, live and in full. And on top of the coverage you can already hear on 5 Live. Coming up next on Radio 5 Sports Extra, the Premier League. More live sport, pure live sport. This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
And hello from Stamford Bridge for this latest Premier League commentary on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. It is Chelsea versus Everton, and I have with me a man who played for both clubs, Pat Nevin. So what are you thinking, Pat? Chelsea have got 3 wins in a row behind them. They've got Real Madrid to look forward to in the Champions League. But after the results earlier, they are now in the bottom half of the Premier League. Aston Villa have gone above them, so Chelsea are in 11th, whereas Everton are still in desperate need of points. Where they were this morning, 1 point above the relegation zone, even though they have dropped a couple of places to 4th bottom.
Well, very much a case of what type of person are you? You're a glass half full or a glass half empty type of person. I think for Chelsea, first of all, the fact that they have been playing a bit better, they have scored a few goals recently. That was always a big problem most of this season, certainly under Graham Potter. There's a bit more creativity about the side. Getting a few players back. James is back for today's game, so you know they've got possibly the strongest team available, and also a little bit of excitement, which I'm sure you'll let everybody know about on the bench for Chelsea. So some good things there. Whereas for Everton, they don't care where the points come from, and if they could get a point right now, I think they would sprint away from Stamford Bridge with it if they could.
Yes, particularly given the fact that they've got an absolutely dreadful record at Stamford Bridge. Never entirely sure how much you should read into that, but it is a fact that they have come here for 27 consecutive league matches without a win, Everton. But here come the teams on what is actually quite a mild late afternoon, early evening, certainly compared to the last time I was here for the Borussia Dortmund game when it was very cold. And they walk out very slowly, shoulder to shoulder, tracksuit tops on. Chelsea begin to line up on the left-hand side of the Premier League arch as we look at it, and Everton's players walking all the way around the back to start the pre-match formalities. And that team news, just to confirm it, as Pat said, Reece James plays, having missed the match at Leicester last weekend because of illness, so James is back. Badia Sheila comes in at the back for Cucurella, who's on the bench, and Christian Pulisic starts, which is not necessarily something I was expecting when we came here, but not started for Chelsea any competition since January the 5th, but has had a knee problem, came on as a sub in the last couple, and he's in the team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one position that's kind of up for grabs really at Chelsea. Sterling's had an injury as well. Mount's had an injury. Those two could have fitted in there. You know, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, Ziyech, there's a whole bunch of players that could play in one of those attack-minded plays. So there's the rest of the places, the positions are kind of, you can see where it's all beginning to fit in, but there's one space left at the moment. And Pulisic is going to get an opportunity today. But having said that, if he finds himself up front as centre forward, I wouldn't be surprised at that either.
So him coming in means that Mudryk is back on the bench, having started last week against Leicester. So those are the 3 changes, but as Pat has suggested, there's great excitement that N'Golo Kante, who's played only twice for Chelsea this season, so those 2 appearances were in August, a hamstring injury, so he's had months and months out. He's been back in training for a little while actually, so they are obviously being careful, but with Real Madrid coming up in the Champions League, clearly that is significant. So Chelsea with Kepa in goal, 3 central defenders are Fofana, Koulibaly and Badia Sheil today, then James on the right, Chilwell on the left, the now familiar pairing of Fernandes and Kovacic in the middle, and then in some formation up front, the forward three, Joao Felix, Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz. And Everton, they are unchanged. Pink shirts today, grey shorts, pink socks, but the same team as last week when they won 1-0 against Brentford at Goodison Park. So that is Pickford in goal, Coleman, Keane, Tarkowski and Godfrey, the back four. Then Doucouré, Gay and Anana in the middle. Iwobi and McNeil either side of Damari Gray. So Sean Dyche doing a very Sean Dyche sort of thing, Pat.
Yeah, but they are a strong-looking side, as they often will play at parts of this game, I suspect, with a back four. 5 really tight in front of them and trying to break from there to go up alongside Damari Gray. Similar to Chelsea, they haven't got a real out-and-out striker, and that's why a lot of people have been concerned about where the goals are going to come from either of these teams today. Difficult to say, but Sean Dyche has done one thing. He's brought a bit of stability about the team, and something's going to happen here, John, that we often talk about.
Yes, Chelsea are being turned around, so they will be attacking towards the Matthew Harding stand in the first half. We saw it last match we were at together, didn't we, at St James's Park last weekend?
I've often said it. I often go to see games at Liverpool and think of all places you would turn them around, because you don't want them getting into the Kop in the second half. But every team is the same. They like that normality of facing their normal way in the second half. I'm amazed it's I've been talking about this for years. Yeah. It's now beginning to happen that teams know the importance of changing the team around when they win the toss.
Yes, we've just been talking, haven't we, over the course of the last 24 hours about marginal gains with Ineos interested in Manchester United and buying Manchester United, Dave Brailsford and co. And that has to be a tiny little marginal gain. But anyway, we'll see if it has any effect. Newcastle did win last week after being turned around. But off we go here on Sports Extra. Chelsea against Everton, and Chelsea playing from left to right, and the ball being played forward for Felix, who's over on the left-hand side, and immediately he's up to tricks as the challenge comes in on him, and it bounces out of play on the far side. Standing with his right foot above a stationary ball, flexing his knee, bending his foot, waggling his ankle. So, promising signs from him in his recent performances.
Ultra confident player, and he's got great belief from Potter. You've stuck by him all the time. He's always got his head up. He's always trying different things. Slightly dangerous doing that stationary thing, throwing your leg about in the Premier League. Somebody will kick that leg if you do it often enough. So, but he's actually the furthest forward at the moment, almost playing as a centre forward. But I think those 3 forward players at Chelsea will be interchangeable. Talk about Sean Dyche doing Sean Dyche sort of things. That's Graham Potter doing Graham Potter sort of things, isn't it, from the Chelsea days? But yes, at the moment, or at least when we looked at it, it was Havertz furthest forward through the middle. But Everton are in possession. The ball is played up the left-hand side. Everton, who've won just once away from home all season. And offside flag is up against Doucouré. So Chelsea have a free kick in their right-back position. So this is Chelsea 0, Everton 0. If you've switched on and you want to find the rugby, the Ireland-England game, it is on 5 Live right now. Ireland 3, England 6 as the latest score. But Chelsea with the ball at the back. Fofana knocking it along the back line to Badiashile. And there's Chilwell over on the left-hand side, back in the England squad this week, having missed the World Cup. Koulibaly. This is just a little laboured here. The ball seems to be running quite slowly on the turf, and then it bounces off Enzo Fernandez. Koulibaly behind him, finds the pass to Fofana. Long and right-footed from Fofana. That's a lovely ball from him. But Chilwell's touch actually gave it back to Iwobi, and Iwobi was able to play it off Chilwell, who's kept it in, and Chilwell plays it back, and Felix hits it across to the edge of the 6-yard box. Havertz was there. It was cut out on the edge of the box, cleared to Fernandes. He shoots, double deflection across the penalty area. 1 or 2 shouts for handball, actually, in the stand beneath us, but Iwobi is able to take it out there onto the far side and clear it into the lower tier of the east stand on the far side. You wonder if Everton have been looking at the recent games that Chelsea have played on the DVD or the video, whatever, because that ball from Fofana, right centre-back, all the way to Chilwell on the left-hand side, Chelsea have been using that all the time. We've just seen another little replay of that. It did hit the hand, but his hand was in very, very close towards his body.
Yeah, it was tucked in right next to the body. So correct decision. Dwight McNeil it was, the player who was struck just inside the penalty area. But Chelsea have taken the throw and they've won a free kick on the far side.
What's very noticeable is when Chelsea have had the wing backs Chilwell and James available, they do look much more fluid, much more capable of getting good crosses in from either side. And so far Chilwell has already looked dangerous a couple of times down the left hand side, and he might do it again now.
Yep, free kick, maybe 5 or 6 yards in from the left hand side. Chilwell stands 1 foot in front of the other, and the referee, who's Darren England by the way, is talking to players from both teams near the penalty spot, but he now backs away. There's the whistle. Here's Chilwell with the delivery, with the free kick, which comes off an Everton head. I think it might have been Michael Keane's, which took it across the face of goal and beyond the far post, and it's a corner to Chelsea.
Well, good quality ball, and what you expect from Chilwell. It's difficult. Keane's going towards his own goal there, can't take any chances. And Chelsea have got a lot of that power in the air. Fofana's decent there, so is Koulibaly, so is Havertz coming from deeper areas. So quality balls in for Chelsea is what's wanted, but you know Sean Dyche's teams, they generally know how to defend set pieces.
Yeah, having brought Michael Keane back in, 4th consecutive start for him, the former Burnley central defender. So Chelsea's first corner of the match, down to our right, which is taken in by Chilwell into the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up but not completely away, then nodded to the edge of the box, and Kovacic arrives and volleys it wide through a crowd of players, narrowly wide of the right post as he looked at it.
Well, be disappointed he didn't get it, because he scored an absolute cracker of a goal last week for Chelsea against Leicester. Technique was brilliant, had to be good technique there. It's come from a large height, but he's volleyed it, he's looked for the corner. On those occasions, he probably shouldn't be looking for the corner. Just get it on target. You know, there's a bunch of bodies in front there, but a good chance for Chelsea.
So 0-0 after that Kovacic miss, almost right on the edge of the box. And Everton with McNeil playing it forward, but Fofana was underneath that and just twists his head and nods it back to Kepa in the goal to our left. Kepa, all in orange, trots out, underarms it to Badiashile, and then back it goes into the penalty area. So Cucurella only on the substitutes bench, and the ball played forward by Fofana, but that's intercepted centre field, so Everton have it back, and McNeil is fouled, says referee England, so that's a free kick to Everton. What's the thinking, do you think, Pat, with Cucurella going out today and Badiashile coming back into the back line?
To be honest, it's really what you need. I think Cucurella, I don't know if he offers you as much in the air when you're attacking balls from corners, and if you're going to get a lot of possession, you're bringing in a player, Badiashile, who's not bad in there. You've got Fofana who's good in there, Koulibaly too. Also, you need to defend aerially against this Everton team because they're a tall, physical side. So it may not be anything more than the inches.
Free kick then, McNeil, Chelsea holding a very high line. McNeil to the edge of the D. That's headed down and away by Badiashile. Iwobi just lofts one back into the edge of the area. 1 or 2 shouts as Badiashile was challenged, but it's cleared away, and here's Havertz on the left-hand side. Kai Havertz, having scored 2 goals in his last 2 appearances, Chelsea's top scorer. Then infield towards Kovacic. Now it comes centrally to Fernandes, who had that early shot that was blocked inside the penalty area by McNeil, but he has to go back to Fofana, who will pass it to the middleman of the 3 central defenders. Koulibaly, long and forward from him, but that's going absolutely nowhere for Chelsea. There was no one there within 30 yards of that, and it bounces through for a goal kick.
Not his best moment. He is replacing Thiago Silva, and maybe doesn't look quite as comfortable in the ball as Thiago Silva. But then you have to remember one statistic which is slightly unfair. Since Thiago Silva's gone out of the team, they've won 3 games in a row, which is a bit unfair, seeing he's been Chelsea's best player this season. At the moment, the player that's really standing out for me for Everton, though, I'm really, really impressed with the work of Iwobi over on the right-hand side. You know, he's had to do all the defending, but his physicality and his pace have really helped his team out so far.
Everton playing it forward, but that will be headed back by Fofana to Kepa. So Chelsea without Mason Mount. Seems to have been a little bit of confusion, doesn't there, about whether he was available for England or not. Chelsea, Graham Potter saying yesterday that he would not be, and he's not involved today. Raheem Sterling not in for you. No Azpilicueta still after that bash that he took on the head. And goalkeeper Mendy too. So it's still a very long Chelsea injury list. However, signing so many players in January as the ball is taken forward by Pulisic down the left-hand side into the penalty area. Promising burst from him, but Everton were able to deal with it, and it was clattered out of play on the far side for a throw.
It's interesting to see Pulisic do that. That's what he's been lacking for quite some time now. He gets the ball and he takes a hit, goes across the field. That time, running directly at players, that was a real confidence booster for him. That he got past the top couple of players. He didn't get across in the end. I think that looks a little bit like Graham Potter said to him: get the ball, take on defenders.
So Chelsea 0, Everton 0, and Fofana bringing it forward deep into Everton territory, but then finds Damari Gray in front of him, so turns and it's back to the halfway line, and then Chelsea change the focus of attack to the left-hand side, where Badiashile uses Chilwell, and now Joao Felix with his dark hair bobbing. Fernandez, he finds a pass onto the chest of James, now to the edge of the box, where it bounces away from Chelsea on the edge of the penalty area. Felix still thereabouts near the penalty spot, looking for the ball. It was played in from the left-hand side. Everton clear. Fernandez, now Havertz, back to Fernandez again. Havertz, 4 or 5 yards away from him, turns to his right, gives it to James, and then James back to the halfway line, where Fofana, under pressure from Gray, stabs it infield, and Sean Dyche down there just a few yards away claps Damari Gray for his efforts there. But Chelsea coming forward again through the middle. Fernandez into James, bounced off James, then bounces back into the penalty area after McNeil, back to James with a cross to the back post. That's gone a long way, all the way to Chilwell, and Chilwell is able to take it and turn, spins out into the full-back position. Kovacic now low into the edge of the box. Felix with a shot, but that's deflected, and the deflection took it wide of Pickford's goal. He was racing out to his left, couldn't keep it in. Another Chelsea corner.
Very hard work for Everton. They're hardly getting a touch of the ball at the moment. They're working hard, they're getting into good defensive positions, but Chelsea are beginning to see a little gap here and there. Very impressive. Joao Felix has got this lovely turn. Every time you play the ball until he's back towards the goal, he's always in the half turn. You can't touch him, and he makes great space here. Managed to get a corner this time.
Just his 9th appearance on loan from Atletico Madrid until the end of the season. And Chelsea then with this corner. Chilwell left-footed, and it is headed wide of the top right corner, just outside the 6-yard box. He was stepping away, Havertz. Got good contact on it, but it flashed wide by, what, a foot?
Yeah, but I think Sean Dyche will be very disappointed in that, because I think it was Fofana went to the near post, and he could have got it. He wasn't marked at all. Goes above Fofana's head, and Kai Havertz, I think the reason why he didn't get it on target is he expected Fofana to get to it. That is not what Sean Dyche expects. He works so hard on those defensive areas, and Chelsea at the moment are well on top.
A converted try for Ireland, who are now 10-6 up on England, having been 6-3 down. That is on 5 Live. Chelsea 0, Everton 0, and we'll also keep you up to date with the score in the FA Cup, the first of the quarter-finals, Manchester City-Burnley, which starts at 5:45. You can watch that on BBC One. Everton with the ball in front of their own penalty area. It will be long and right-footed from him, but over the top of Gray, so Chelsea have got it inside their own half.
It's hard, isn't it? You know, they're getting the ball long up to Damari Gray, but anything above, like, foot high, he's not going to win it, because he's got 3 centre-backs against him. Very, very tough for Damari Gray just now, and very tough for Everton, because it doesn't seem to be an out ball at the moment.
Everton step forward from Godfrey to play it forward, but Koulibaly was able to beat Gray to it, so Chelsea come again. The home side, Chelsea, dominating the possession in these early stages. Kovacic's pass, though, is easily headed back by Coleman to Pickford. So Sean Dyche standing with his hands wide apart down there, black suit on, white shirt. I can see the cuffs at the end of his jacket sleeves. This is his 8th match in charge. They've won 3 of 7 so far, so that's not bad. 10 points from those matches, 10 points from 7 matches. If you carry that on, Everton will stay up. As the ball is played back to Pickford, who will drag the ball onto his left foot.
Yeah, they just need to get through this first 10-15 minutes. I think that was the most important thing for Everton, because if they can settle into a pattern of the game, they know they're not going to get as much possession, but getting past that first period is important.
Havertz got to the ball ahead of Godfrey, but then Godfrey recovered and was impeded, fouled, pushed by Havertz, who's just asking the assistant about that, but the free kick is given, so it's a free kick to Everton in their own left-back area. Still one or two late arrivals. The Everton followers are here in good numbers, of course. And it is remarkably mild. Still light, of course. I can see the rooftops of West London away over the top of the Matthew Harding stand, through the little gap there, as Pickford has got the ball down and will hit this downfield. You could throw the proverbial large blanket over all of the players either side of the halfway line just now. Pickford forward, and then Gray stretching, but Kovacic was able to pass it back. And the goalkeeper at the other end, Kepa Arrizabalaga, passes it out, and Chilwell turns, gives it back to Badiashile behind him, and then Koulibaly has it in front of the penalty area. I'm sure a lot of the Chelsea fans who've been coming in here today have been either talking about the Champions League quarter-final that's coming up against Real Madrid, or indeed arranging to go to the Spanish capital in a few weeks' time. Here's Koulibaly to Kovacic, but it was a poor pass actually, and he's fortunate there, Kovacic. He just got shoved over and won a free kick. Otherwise Everton might have been away.
I think Kovacic was at fault there. He couldn't get his feet sorted out quick enough, and slightly panicked. I think he's a wee bit lucky there. It probably was a foul, but he wasn't completely in control of the ball there, and that was a chance of half a break for Everton, and that looks like the best opportunity, doesn't it? A little bit of a mistake and a break at pace.
Yeah, and here they're trying to break now with Gray through the middle. Damari Gray, Everton's 6-goal top scorer this season, but it comes back centrally, and Onana plays it to the right-hand side, where Seamus Coleman's pass down the right is put out of play on the far side by Badiashile. So still 0-0 the score, Pat Nevin. It's
quite old school, isn't it? You know, get it to the right back and lump it into the channel, as it were, go and chase it, and then press up behind it. You know, this is not sophisticated football that Everton are trying to play, but it doesn't matter as long as it is effective. And as you say, it's been fairly effective since Sean Dyche came.
It will be down the right. Here's the cross, but easy one for Kepa to catch into his arms at the near post. Yeah, for the record, it is 11 away matches since Everton won a game in all competitions, and that was the match at Southampton on the 1st of October. Kovacic playing back towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Badiashile, which is just kept in. Chilwell, I think he almost had 1 foot off the pitch as he kept that in, and Chelsea go back again to the edge of their own penalty area, where in his orange boots, Koulibaly will take it forward, passes it out to the right-hand side, and then back to Koulibaly again. He must have been wondering whether he would have been up against his old club Napoli, where he was such a hero in the time that he was there, but they're in the opposite side of the Champions League draw. Now through the middle, and now it's been taken on by Pulisic, and Pulisic does well. Chilwell's ball across, bounces off Felix, but then is cleared away by Godfrey. Chelsea still with it. No, it's hit up towards the halfway line by Idrissa Gueye, and now Damari Gray, right-footed from him, a high ball. Iwobi's going to do well with that. He managed to pull it down from the sky, but in doing that just presented it to Chilwell, who blasted it high into the stand on the far side of the ground. Throw into Everton, 0-0.
Another little moment from Pulisic there, you know, looking much livelier, much more direct. You know, his angle of his runs has changed, and that's, I mean, he'll be thinking whether he's going to be at Chelsea next season, because there's so many players that Chelsea have got and bought in that position. But very direct, but it's settled into a pattern, hasn't it? Chelsea with a lot of the ball, and Everton quite simply trying to break. And by the way, when they do break, they do get some numbers forward, John.
Yeah, not to mention all of those Chelsea players out on loan as well, and the young Chelsea players, you know, all the great promise that they have. Here's McNeil, who will try a shot from 25 yards, actually probably more than that, between 25 and 30 yards out, but it's sailed away over the top of the crossbar. Never threatened Kepa, and he was happy to see that land just in the lower part of the shed stand. So a goal kick to Chelsea. Still Ireland 10, England 6. Could be a short goal kick, but Kepa points long and actually strikes it away towards Chilwell, who leaps on the halfway line, heads it forward. Pulisic on the chase, and Michael Keane's been able to play it off Pulisic and out of play, and again it's bobbing around among the heads of the fans on the far side. So yes, what about Real Madrid then, Pat? Clearly Chelsea underdogs.
Oh, by some distance. I mean, that's a team that looks well capable of winning the competition. I don't think they're favourites. I mean, we've watched them, I mean, particularly the game against Liverpool when they went 2-0 down, and they were absolutely phenomenal. And they've got some players. Chelsea have got a lot of good young players themselves, but I watched Camavinga just recently, and there's not many around Europe that would be more in demand.
Yeah.
Every single club in Europe would take him and put him in the first team right away. What a player.
He looks like a young version of Casemiro, doesn't he?
Yeah.
As the ball is played out from the back by Chelsea. Fernandes, that was good. And then Havertz back to Fernandes on the halfway line. He plays it through. Pulisic is available in the middle, but Felix couldn't find him. He knew he was there, Felix. He'd had a look, and Pulisic was all alone. But defenders were coming back, those men in pink, and now they break forward. It will be for Gray, but Koulibaly will deal with that, and it's burst into life, Pat.
It has. Just Everton playing a little bit higher. I noticed from a goal kick earlier on there, they tried to put a high press, not expecting that at all. But when they did that, Chelsea were almost able to break through there. Just that final pass in, wasn't able to find the man. But a little bit more exciting, a bit more open.
It was there for him, wasn't it? If Felix could have found the pass.
I mean, he's tried to do the right thing. I mean, he's played the right ball there. It's just decent defending positionally.
Yeah. Chilwell now on the left-hand side. Kovacic, that's closed down, charged down by Idrissa Gueye. And now it's on the halfway line again with Chelsea. And while we talk about Real Madrid, don't forget Tchouaméni as well. You know, Camavinga was playing instead of him the other night, but in the league last weekend, Camavinga was shuffled back to full-back and Tchouaméni played in the middle for Real Madrid. I mean, the options for them...
And if they get Jude Bellingham and stick him in there, they could be a real dynasty, you know, because they're all young as well. They could be building a real dynasty.
No, nice from Pulisic on the far side. Beats two men, turns it infield to Kovacic. Kovacic low into the feet of Havertz. He's going to have a goal, which he does. But Pickford got a good sight on that. And it didn't have the whip that Havertz wanted, so he was able to go down quite easily to his right and just kill it dead.
Not exactly what he's noted for, Kai Havertz, putting it in from 30 yards or so. It's quite slightly surprised there because João Felix just ahead of him there. They could have played a little 1-2 together, but you know, at the moment Everton are beginning to develop a little problem, which is the four defenders are going a little bit tight with each other, and it's leaving spaces in the wide areas.
Still 0-0. Pulisic though coming again, having made a very good start, and then the ball is deflected into the path of Felix, who slid in on Pickford, but Pickford did well actually, just slid in from his direction also. Chilwell got the little deflection on that as it was played in by Pulisic, and it took it closer to the goalkeeper actually, who was able to gather.
Might have been better for Chelsea there had he not got that touch in there. But they're now, as I was trying to explain there before he got the cross in, there is a problem in the wide areas for Everton. Because of Sean Dyche's teams, when they defend and they've got a back four, it's a tight back four. They go really, really close in there, saying, well, you'll get some crosses in, but there'll be four of us in here to defend it. Well, Chelsea have decided, well, we've got quality players out in those wide areas. We'll make good use of that. And on that occasion, cross in for the left-hand side. And I think Everton were very lucky to get away with that.
Yeah. And there's been an issue, hasn't it, scoring goals, as we were discussing before the match. But chances are being created in this one, having scored 3 goals at Leicester last weekend. Pickford clearing towards the halfway line, bounces through Iwobi, then Gray rather threw himself down. Paddy Ashiel, I think that was contact, but Gray made sure he got the free kick, which he did on the halfway line.
Yes, he made plenty of it, but I think there was contact there. Paddy Ashiel's really growing as well. You know, alongside Fofana there at the back. Fofana's a very, very comfortable player on the ball. But they have to be good against Gray. Gray is very, very, very quick. And he's getting a bit of help from Doucouré now and again. Doucouré, who started as one of the midfielders, is spending a lot of time close to Demarai Gray up front now for Everton. And this is the first chance to put it's a long way back, but it's a free kick into a dangerous area.
Coleman to take it. Seamus Coleman backs away, 34 years old now. And here it is, long from the right back, headed across the edge of the penalty area and then helped in towards Tarkowski at the back post, who had a defender with him, Fofana, and he's claiming, Tarkowski, that he was being impeded, but referee England says no, goal kick, that's all it is.
Yeah, but that's what they want to play for, isn't it? Just the odd ball put into the box and cause a little bit of confusion, try and get the first flick on there. And just watching it, I don't think any player actually touched that in the way through, and if it was anyone, we've got a better view of it here. I actually think it was the Everton player himself who was complaining. Tarkowski, but it was him.
Yeah, and he could even actually, that could have been given as a foul on Fofana. 0-0. Michael Keane is chasing Felix. A race for them into the penalty area. Felix turns, plays it across. Havertz couldn't get the bouncing ball under control. groans from the home supporters. Chilwell's actually blocked it back into the penalty area, the attempted clearance. Pulisic, now Fernandes. Lovely from Fernandes. He knew that Doucouré was coming, took one touch, passed it away, and now James back to Felix, who goes for a chip, but that will land on the roof of the net harmlessly for Everton. And it's a goal kick to the visitors, still 0-0.
You know, we compare Chelsea to earlier in the season when everything was a bit slow. No one wanted to go beyond defenders. They passed and passed and passed, and it became really dull and fairly soporific. It's not like that now. You watch João Felix, he wants to go beyond. Pulisic, come on, he's tried to go beyond. You've got the two wing backs there. They're getting balls in, but they also want to go behind defenders. Chelsea have suddenly become a much more entertaining team to watch when it's begun to click, and this is what Potter wants to see.
That's what the owners will want to see as well. If you spend that amount of money, well over £500 million in 2 transfer windows, you want to see successful winning football, and you want to be entertained as well. And that game last week, 3 goals against Leicester, was a challenge centre field from Ballin on Onana that Everton weren't very happy about. It's been cleared away downfield. Chilwell, a sliding Chilwell, kept it in somehow. He was just slid over the line, slid over the ball, kept the ball in, and unfortunately for him, Everton are able to take possession back again. Onana, who stayed down, is now back up, and then there's a foul on Damari Gray in the middle of the Chelsea half. Free kick.
Yeah, Chelsea are trying to do to Everton what Everton were doing to them, giving them no space whatsoever. Chasing everything down and spending a huge amount of energy. And it's whether you can keep that up for the entirety of the game. João Felix has put a huge amount of effort in there. At the moment, he's still not getting any reward for it, but it's actually become a more and more entertaining game as it's gone on.
I think we just had a chance to see that again. I think Koulibaly just stood his ground against Onana there. He went over the top of him.
Yeah, I think the referee got that absolutely spot on.
Yeah. By the way, that 3 goals last week against Leicester, first time that Chelsea have scored 3 goals in our match since the Wolves game back on October the 8th, and that was when things were, there was that honeymoon period, as you might call it, for Graham Potter, when he started off with that unbeaten run before things turned rather sour. However, now with the springtime, things are just beginning to look up for Chelsea, and that Real Madrid tie. If Chelsea are able to continue this run in the build-up to that and gather confidence, maybe Kante comes back, by the time we get there, it might have a slightly different look. Still Real Madrid, though.
Yeah, they might even have Thiago Silva back as well, which is a true world-class player. The players are getting to know each other a wee bit. They'll still be outsiders, and that's one of the bonuses for Chelsea in that tie. The expectations for everyone are so low. Players sometimes love that because they feel as if they can just go and take chances.
They'll be underdogs however far they go now in that competition. Pulisic was fouled there on the halfway line by Gabe, but the referee's played an advantage. Lovely from Felix, beats his man. Felix's ball right across the penalty area, it's blocked, comes back into the middle, and is cleared away by Ben Godfrey, who made the initial sliding interception. But lovely, brilliant from Felix. They love that sort of thing around here. Kovacic, his attempted pass, tried to lift it wide and over the top for Reece James. That was headed away by Godfrey. Chelsea come again, still 0-0. Played almost half an hour, and still Chelsea come forward. Fofana to Chilwell again. Seen much more of Chilwell actually on the left than we have James on the right. Kovacic tried to play it through. That was intercepted on the edge of the box. Well, too casual by Iwobi near the edge of his own box, but Chelsea couldn't take advantage. This time Pulisic couldn't find a way through.
There's a real joy about that Chelsea play just now, and a lot of it is because of João Felix. When he's on the half turn, I mentioned it earlier on in the game, he is extra special. Well, that wasn't just a half turn, that was a half turn and a dummy, leaving players for dead. And I mean, these players, you say they love that around here, they absolutely do, but I think most football supporters love skills like that.
It's a half turn and a half, if we could say that. Now Chelsea have it back on the halfway line. Chelsea 0, Everton 0. And Everton, after the early results, just above the relegation zone again. Felix trying to flick the ball in field, but that comes back towards the halfway line. Fernandes, he started promisingly well, just settling in still as Chelsea come down the left-hand side. And then Tangled back by Pulisic. Felix is often going into the penalty area again and pulls it across the 6-yard box, looking for Havertz. But I'm just looking now. Everton have got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outfield players in their own penalty area, as well as the goalkeeper Pickford. And through sheer force of numbers, they were able to clear that away, and it couldn't find Havertz. There's been a yellow card for Idrissa Gueye, is it? I think it is.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, that was quite a wee while back. It was about a minute or so back in the play, and the referee was absolutely spot on about that.
Yeah. Yes, that challenge on Pulisic on the halfway line, which was actually that was a good decision.
Yeah, it was the right decision again. The referee's done well so far, but again, Chelsea's half a chance there. It's João Felix. He is having an exceptional start to this game, and it doesn't matter what team you're playing for. When you're playing with that comfort and that confidence, he is very, very, very special. So he's playing up front, but he's also dropping down into the kind of 10 position quite a lot of the time. Everton defenders have no idea what to do with him.
Yeah, very often when I've seen him in the past for Atletico Madrid, he's quite often flattered to deceive, and certainly not entertained to the extent that we've seen him do even in his short Chelsea career at times.
I think that might be got to do with the manager, the type of manager you're working under. Says a chap who quite like working under somebody who...
Well, which raises the question of why move there in the first place if you're João Felix and your advisors.
Exactly. I mean, you get promises made, but it's all about the personalities and the reaction you have with the personalities. João Felix and Graham Potter, that is a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, so I heard him speak before the Borussia Dortmund second leg when he was put up in the pre-match press conference. Ball is hit long from Koulibaly down the right-hand side to James. He's got it actually in the quadrant, brings it down, then plays it back to Havertz. And then Enzo Fernandez, the World Cup winner, turns away from Doucouré, gives it square to his midfield partner Kovacic. Now to the left-hand side to Chilwell. Chilwell's cross is headed away by Keane, just outside the 6-yard box. Bounces back for McNeil to volley it downfield, and now Koulibaly and Gray together, shoulder to shoulder. That looked a little awkward for Koulibaly for a moment there, and he was a little fortunate and was able to play it back to Kevin.
It's not an easy ball to take, coming over your shoulder like that. One thing he was pleased with, it was a foot race between him and Gray, and I think Koulibaly will no longer worry about that race because he won that one quite easily.
Half-time in Dublin, Ireland 10, England 6. There's Chelsea come through the middle. Havertz. It's been shielded the ball's been shielded from him by Tarkowski, who is actually then wins a free kick for the challenge by Havertz.
They've got to do something with that. Everton really have to do something with that. You cannot allow one player to keep on doing the same trick. João Felix just comes off the two centre-backs, takes the ball deep and half turns on it. And the way he half turns, if you tackle him at all, it'll keep the ball between you and them, and you'll get a free kick. So they can't touch him. They're going to have to get Idrissa Gueye to kill that space, because if you keep on giving them that space, he will create chances.
Still 0-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Chelsea. Oh, that's some dive by Fofana.
He was waiting for the push.
He got the push.
And he got a wee bit of push.
He got the push. But, I mean, it was like Tom and Jerry on the diving board.
Absolutely.
That one. Hands together. Here is Chelsea playing it out from the back. Kovacic. Then back into Badiashile, who was just fouled, just a little foul by Doucouré, but that was enough. The assistant spotted it, flagged, and it's a free kick to Chelsea. In the FA Cup, by the way, 15 minutes played. Manchester City 0, Burnley 0, which will be quite a day for Vincent Kompany, as you might have been hearing on 5 Live a little bit earlier in the afternoon. But 0-0 here in the Premier League. We've got a wide variety of sport for you tomorrow on 5 Live and Sports Extra. The Brighton Grimsby Cup tie is here on Sports Extra. Sheffield United Blackburn quarter-final is on 5 Live from 12 o'clock. It's a 12 o'clock start for that one. Premier League commentary, Arsenal against Crystal Palace, the leaders against now managerless Crystal Palace. That's at 2 o'clock on 5 Live. And the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is at 5 o'clock on 5 Live. And the qualifying will be taking place this evening for that. So news of that on 5 Live. Everton breaking away with the ball. It's played forward for Gray. Gray chasing. Fofana's with him. Fofana then being held off by Gray, who had a hand on his shoulder as the two of them jockeyed for possession. And then it finds its way back to Gray on the left wing. Has a look in field. Has another look in field, but then goes back to the halfway line. Tarkowski is challenged by Felix, who went to ground, took it away from the Everton central defender, and Tarkowski has blatantly pulled back Felix off the ball as they ran together. Then Pulisic to Chilwell on the left-hand side. Comes back to Fernandes. Square from him. Joao Felix. Low shot, but straight at Pickford, who's able to drop down almost long barrier style and stop the ball in front of his knee.
It just underlines the problems that Joao Felix is causing just now. You know, another brilliant tackle on this occasion. He managed to get the ball, put it into a dangerous area. He was taken out of play when the ball was miles away from him. But every time Everton tried to move forward, which they did there with decent numbers, Chelsea looked incredibly dangerous with their pace and with the skills that have got breaking. But Everton, well, give them a due. They've been a wee bit more positive in this last 10 or 15 minutes than they had certainly in the first 15 minutes.
I think if the officials had spotted Tarkowski's tug on Felix, he'd be booked.
Yeah, well, I don't know about yet, because the ball's not going to play yet. And the assistant was very close to it.
Let's see. Here's a Iwobi. All of that enormous mane of hair bobbing behind his head. And then just a little short, but actually Koulibaly dived in. And it was cleared forward by Onana to Doucouré. Now Onana again. Very, very tall, the Everton number 8, just 21 years old. One of the arrivals at the end of the summer window as Badia Shields steps in on Damari Gray. And that's a foul, that's a free kick. Badia Shields came in behind him, caught him, down he went. Free kick to Everton in a good position.
Well, first of all, it's a stupid challenge. You can see it coming a mile away. Secondly, in that sort of situation, he's extraordinarily unlucky not to get a yellow card. Come through the back of the player, he can't do anything about that. He can't see that coming. He's just wiped him out there and given a free kick when there was no need to do that. So Everton, this is what they've worked for, isn't it? To get into an area where they can put the ball into the back post and have some of the big men attack it.
So opportunity knocks for Everton from a set piece in front of the Shed stand. It's right of centre, so it's got an angle, but McNeil's gone over there to have a look at this, and I think he quite likes the angle. Dwight McNeil scored the winner against Brentford last weekend, just standing to the right of the ball. Gray is there as well, if they play it in, but two-man wall, and it is Gray who hits it, and it's clattered Pulisic. Actually, it was a three-man wall. Pulisic was there on the far side of it. He leapt for it, it hit him, and he's gone down immediately. He's dropped down, holding his face, and we'll have a stoppage here while they have a look at him. But this is certainly not the first time we've seen this season, a player receiving a head injury defending a free kick.
Yeah, and you've got to be brave in those situations, but you know, the way he went down, you knew that it's going to take a wee while to get back up again. It's almost like a boxer goes down sometimes. So it was like the ball only gone away 5 or 10 yards, and the two medics had come on for Chelsea flying on in there. Doesn't seem a great panic over there, so that's something.
But it'll be rough luck for Pulisic if this is a concussion injury, having just come back into the starting 11 and looked really sharp.
Yeah, it's happened to him a few times in his Chelsea career. You know, he's had an injury, he's come back, he's had a few games sometimes, and he's looked really sharp, and then he's pulled up again, and he's never really got a long run of games together where he can be an important player. He's always kind of fighting against it. It feels that way.
If he left now, Pat, if he left Chelsea now, you would say didn't really happen for him, did
No,
it?
Absolutely. And you consider the abilities he's got, and I mean he's a well-known player in this country, but you go to the United States, Captain America, he's about the most famous, arguably the most famous male footballer over there from the States.
I'm just not sure he's going to be able to continue.
No, I don't think he will. Just the way he's staying down there, it may well be that he has to be changed.
And he was poleaxed by it. The free kick.
He went down like a boxer, and there's been a knockout punch. He's sitting up now, really. It's taken him a while to set up. He's taking his time. Well, certainly he shouldn't be staying on the pitch at the moment. They should be taking him off to have a good look at him.
This is the perfect case for the temporary substitution.
Absolutely, yeah.
That eventually we'll have, but for some reason it's been resisted.
I have no idea why. Honestly, it's beyond me.
Reason. So Pulisic has been walked off the field on the far side, and let's just see how soon it is before he actually comes back on. And obviously, as well, we need to keep an eye on him when he does come back on to see how he is. 7 minutes to go to half-time. If you've just joined us on Sports Extra, half-time, of course, in the rugby at the moment, where Ireland have a narrow lead against England by 10 points to 6. Chelsea 0, Everton 0 is the score here in the Premier League, and Pulisic is now back onto the field, straight back on. And Everton play the pass from centre field from Tarkowski, but he looks at the heavens above the centre circle because he just overhit it, and it's out of play for a throw.
Isn't that the classic way about football? No sympathy whatsoever. Tarkowski gets space there because he ran in behind where Pulisic could have been. Oh, we're a horrible bunch in football. We will use any weakness, every one of us.
Chelsea 0, Everton 0. And one final word about Real Madrid. Are you enjoying Vinicius Junior's play at the moment, Pat?
We've been waiting for a while to come. You know, he's always had the ability, but, well, you talk about flattering to deceive. Well, that was always the problem with him. Not at the moment.
Not anymore. As Felix plays the ball back to Pulisic, who then hits the ball forward for Felix to run onto, but Seamus Coleman was there, but he had Felix behind him, so he just turned it out of play for a throw-in to Chelsea, 7 or 8 yards back from the corner flag. So no Mudryk in the team today. Pulisic coming in, but that, you know, I think it's the effect of competition, isn't it? When you have so many good players, when you come in, you've got to deliver with Chelsea, otherwise there's somebody else behind you.
That's exactly what you want in a club, and if you're not playing well enough, there certainly were times when there was a number of players playing, you knew they would get a game every week. Well, it's not the case now, certainly not in the mid to attacking areas.
Everton still 0-0. Pickford picks out a pass to Godfrey, but he couldn't keep it in down here on the Everton left. Chelsea take a quick throw, just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. Chelsea have had chances, not been able to convert them, and then it's blocked out of play by McNeil for a throw-in halfway line.
Sean Dyche is looking for a throw-in for Everton there. I think that's desperation more than anything else. He would love to get his team to half-time. You know, 0-0, that would be a good result for him. They've had a few half chances, no real, would you call it a real clear-cut chance yet? Maybe mostly half, three-quarter chances, as it were, for Chelsea, but no clean ones so far.
Chelsea start again on the halfway line, and then Chilwell has another run towards the penalty area, cross from Pulisic, but that's too close to the goalkeeper, too close to the England goalkeeper Pickford, who's able to jump and pat it down at the near post unchallenged. So still goalless. Jordan Pickford and the England team will be in action on Thursday night. I'm off to Naples with them this week, Pat. I just hope that everything's okay off the field in Naples with what has to be a very high-profile match in terms of the security. McNeil running the ball forward. McNeil still going, lovely. Beats two men up to the edge of the penalty area, and then showed enough of it to Koulibaly, who took his chance to sweep it away with his left foot behind.
It's a good time for Koulibaly. I mean, that's great play by McNeil there. Havertz is still complaining it was a foul on him. The referee was having absolutely none of it. But Koulibaly had to get that right. Now, remember earlier in the season, Koulibaly's been sent off for Chelsea. He was over rash earlier on in the season. I think he was struggling a little bit. But certainly in the last little while since he's been back in the team, he's looking much, much better. And, you know, no diving into challenges at the moment. He's calmed himself down a little bit.
And actually his clearance hit Damari Gray, which took it behind for a goal kick. And it is Chelsea's goal kick. 0-0, half-time approaching. Kovacic might be caught in possession. He is caught in possession. Everton have got it back. Idrissa Gueye exchanging passes, and still Idrissa Gueye with those white wristbands on plays the ball to the right-hand side to Iwobi. Pink shirts getting forward now. Iwobi's cross headed away by Fofana across the penalty area, nodded back over. A stretch by Onana, couldn't get his head to it properly, and then Godfrey's shot is charged down by the marauding Koulibaly at source. Then Pulisic is pushed over. Is he? No, he's not. That's not given as a free kick for the challenge by Coleman. You can hear what the home fans think about that, and they're still angry because Everton are coming forward with Damari Gray, and then Damari Gray plays it behind to Godfrey, and Everton enjoying a spell of possession inside the Chelsea half, which we haven't seen too often during the first period.
Best period of play from Everton by some distance. Real willingness to go forward, and that's another possible injury. Is that Pulisic again?
No, it's Chilwell, isn't it?
Is it Chilwell?
Yeah, the ball was played into him by Iwobi, and I've got a feeling that might have just
pulled his ankle back. Yeah, that's a ligament. That's a possible ligament problem.
Well, he's okay. He's on his feet. He's all right. He's got up and he's okay. I wonder if that's one of those, Pat, with his recent injury history, Chilwell, that
you feel it.
You feel the worst. You fear the worst.
Yeah, it hits it, and it hits where the injury is, and you think, oh my goodness, is it going to hold? And he's got up and he's smiling. He's thinking, yes, it's held.
Yeah, he's okay, and he's running freely again. Chilwell. Referee stopped play just to have a look at that, so drop ball, that's how it resumed. Chelsea attacking again, still 0-0. In the 44th minute, that looked like a foul by James on Godfrey. That's not given as a free kick. He got back up, and then the ball rolled out of play for a throw into Chelsea near the corner flag.
He's done a good job, actually, Godfrey. You know, since he's come back, big miss for Everton. He's playing at left full-back today, obviously more of a centre-back most of the time. But James hasn't given any crosses in, has he, in this game, and we know how dangerous he is. So Godfrey quietly done a good job there.
Do you remember Godfrey got injured right at the start of the season in the return fixture? I think it was in the first 15 minutes of the match. Well, I was there. We were there, weren't we? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We were there together. And it was a terrible start. Godfrey got injured. Mina got injured in the first half. And then to add insult to the injuries, Jorginho scored the only goal, the winning penalty, in the 9th minute of added time at the end of the first 45 minutes. And really, for Frank Lampard, you know, that set the tone for the season as Everton lose possession inside the Chelsea half. Seamus Coleman was challenged, and now they sweep forward, Chelsea, but Havertz had his progress snuffed out by a sliding Tarkowski, and it's out of play for a throw down the left-hand side.
Yeah, but it's an enjoyable game now. It's been played at a very good pace. I like the way Everton are attacking it a little bit more just now. Chelsea's still the slightly bigger threat, but it's now a little bit more even.
James now on the right. James, ball in, cleared away. Tarkowski. James is back onto it in the area. Left foot shot, though, that was blocked. Defender Tarkowski threw himself in front of that, and now Fernandes. Oh, lovely turn, and then he's caught by McNeil. He was away there. That'll be a yellow card. It is. Out it comes from the pocket. McNeil has booked. Brilliant skill from the World Cup winner Fernandes.
Yeah, he's got that little turn. It's a very good turn. Because he's a very strong player as well, it's hard to barge off the ball, but it was a nice little... To be honest, I'm trying to explain what that was. It was a step over, then a flick with his standing foot. It was a beautiful piece of skill.
That's the one that the kids will all be trying in the morning.
Yeah.
They'll see it on Match of the Day tonight.
Yeah, we'll be seeing them at the hospital 2 days later.
Yeah.
Broken ankles.
It was kind of, as the defender slid in, he sort of flicked it with his other foot, and left him for dead.
It's a beautiful turn. To be honest, the reason why it's hard to explain it, it's a very unusual one. I can't say it's a Cruyff or it's a, you know, whoever, a Messi. It's a very individual one of his own.
So we're in added time at the end of the first half. Free kick. Havertz is going to play square. Pulisic dummy. Shot from Fernandes. That's blocked inside the penalty area. Comes back to the left. Felix with a shot. That's blocked as well. Everton had plenty of defenders in there, and they did the job. It's cleverly worked.
It's a wall, though, and it's beautifully done off the training ground there. Obviously thought about that one, knowing that, you know, a lot of height in there, but they got it low and half a chance.
And it's still Chelsea 0, Everton 0. But it was brilliantly choreographed, as Barry Davis always used to say when I used to listen to him. That's one they worked on the training ground, I'm sure. As Gray plays it forward, but that'll bounce all the way through to Kepa at the other end.
Well, you know, recently when Chelsea have gone in at half-time, it's been 0-0, particularly here at Stamford Bridge. There's grumbles and there's moans. I don't think you'll get that here.
Kovacic with a long pass, but Godfrey's able to get up and head it away, and then further clears it away towards the halfway line. And it is a throw. I thought that was going to be the whistle, but it's not. Play continues. Havertz down the right-hand side, but McNeil does well. And then McNeil long over the top of Gray. Sean Dyche urging his team out, and back it goes to Kepa at the other end. I have to confess, watching Sean Dyche down there, it's the first time I've seen his Everton live, as Chilwell, I think, was caught on the far side. Might have been late, but Chelsea continue. Pulisic whips it all the way across the penalty area and beyond everyone. And Chilwell gets up on the halfway line and is not best pleased with the challenges that he's received, and speaks to the assistant on the far side. But that's it, 0-0 at half-time. And you said, Pat, didn't you? You spoke to, what was it, 4 former Chelsea players who all suggested that it might be 0-0, and at half-time it is
0-0. But that's a bit unfair. It's been a good game, and again, it was a fairly decent reaction from many of the fans, the home fans around here, and the Everton fans will be happy as well because they've worked incredibly hard. Chelsea have been a better team. They had more of the ball, but you'd expect that in a home game. But it has been a livelier game from Chelsea than you were seeing here 2 or 3 months previously. They are asking more questions of the defence, so that's why there's a slightly cheerier disposition around Stamford Bridge at the moment. Having said that, I think Sean, they should be pleased too.
Yeah, for Chelsea, some good stuff from Pulisic coming in to start. We'll have to see if he's okay after taking that knock from the free kick, blocking it with his head. But Pulisic, Havertz, Felix, all looking good. Some really nice and positive play, but no goals so far. So in the second half, we'll start on Sports Extra. At some stage, after the rugby commentary, the Six Nations commentary is over on 5 Live, we will then move across onto 5 Live. But also taking place across it all is the first of this season's FA Cup semi-finals, which is an intriguing one. I'm very much looking forward to hearing how it's gone so far with Alistair Bruce Ball at the Etihad Stadium.
Yes, thank you, John. The rain is absolutely teeming down here. That's just started in the last couple of minutes. You might be able to tell from the atmosphere in the background as well that Manchester City have just taken the lead. It's Saturday the 18th of March. Erling Haaland has his 40th goal of the season. Came from nothing really. Burnley lost the ball on the halfway line. Julian Alvarez stabbed it forward. Haaland went racing through onto it, and Bailey Peacock Farrell, the Burnley keeper, came flying off his line. Haaland just needed a touch, got it underneath him and rolled it into the bottom corner. So Manchester City leading Burnley by 1-0. Fabulous footballing occasion. A lot of that due obviously to the return of Vincent Kompany. He got a rousing reception when he came out onto the field. His Burnley team have played pretty well, but now they find themselves behind. Erling Haaland with the goal. Manchester City lead Burnley by 1-0, playing for a place in the FA Cup semi-finals.
Thank you very much, Ali. Here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Everton 0 is the half-time score. We will be back with commentary on the second half. In the rugby at half-time, it is Ireland 10, England 6. But in the Premier League earlier, there was a glut of goals in the 3 o'clock Premier League matches. So let's get the story of it all with Mark Chapman.
This is 5 Live Sport.
Let's get some reaction to the Premier League football today then. Great game at Molineux. Ended Wolves 2, Leeds 4. Wolves finished with 10 men, but they also had a substitute sent off as well. Leeds began the day in the bottom 3, but it's so tight towards the bottom that they're now up to 14th. Here's their manager, an emotional Javi Gracia.
We've just finished the game now, and my heart is, it's difficult to explain. I don't find the words I need to explain my feelings. But what I can say is I'm really happy. 3 weeks ago I arrived, and after my arrival we got 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 lose, and it's good for us to change the dynamic and to try to achieve our objective at the end of the season.
7 points from 4 games, Javi, since you took over. You must be delighted with that return.
Yeah, I'm happy for all the club, for all the people is working there, for the supporters, for the players, for many people, day in, day out, is working with that spirit, with that ambition, and I think it's good for us.
There's lots being made about refereeing decisions not going one way or the other. Is it your view, from what I've heard you say, that there were that many inconsistently bad decisions that they evened each other out today? Is that fair?
All the referees deserve all my respect. It's very difficult, and I try to support them. Of course, I'm going to complain during the game, but after the game, I know when I do it sometimes in the training sessions, I know how difficult it is to decide in 1 second. Then all my credit for them and all my respect for them.
Let's go to the game at St Mary's then. Southampton 3-1 down at one stage to get a crucial point at home to Tottenham thanks to a late James Ward-Prowse penalty. As I said, Antonio Conte not happy with his players.
I'm really upset because this is not the first time. And today I can tell you that this is unacceptable. You are winning 3-1 and 50 minutes to go. And I think you have to win. You have to win. I think that instead to improve compared last season, about the spirit, about the team. Now in this moment, I think that we are not a team. Everyone is thinking to himself. And when we are in this way, and you can happen that you go to play in Championship, and you lost against Sheffield United that played with young players, and you drop the FA Cup. You can play with Milan or you can play with Southampton, and to finish that you are winning 3-1, and the last 15 you are able to give the possibility Southampton to come back. I don't see the sense of responsibility of the players. I see a lot of negative situation. I see a lot of selfish situation that I don't like. I have a great frustration about this because me and the staff, we stay every day to think the way to improve. Honestly, also it's time that, I have to take the responsibility, the staff, the club has to take the responsibility, but it's time also to take the responsibility of the players.
That was Antonio Conte. Here now is Ruben Selles.
Ruben, what a finish to the game.
Once we scored the second one, then we have all the energy of the ball and then all the momentum. We scored the 3-3, and then I think it's a little bit more than a point for us. It's a magnificent performance, and I will stay with that, and I will prepare the next weeks based on today.
So that's how much it means to you. You're going to use this as a real foundation for the season.
Yeah, I think the foundation has been there for the last 5 weeks. I think it's just another step. We are talking always about the process. I think we show a team that defend in the high pressure in some good moments. We were not waiting. We were not passive. Because of that, sometimes it can happen that they break the pressure and score a goal. We saw a team that wants to play with the ball, that have clear ideas on how to break the lines, how to score goals. And then we show a team that is compromised with the share, with the city, boys that want to play and fight for each other. And I'm very proud of what they did.
You might want to talk to Chris and Robbie at the end of the rugby if you're a Tottenham fan. 08085 909 693. So a point for Southampton, a win for Leeds. The only team to begin the day in the bottom three and lose were Bournemouth, 3-0 at Aston Villa. However, there was a return to first-team action for David Brooks. He'd not played since September 2021 when he was diagnosed with cancer. Here's his manager, Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, delighted for him. He's obviously had a tough journey that he's been through, him and his family. So he's worked his socks off in this last part to get himself as fit as he is at this moment. We have to obviously manage his minutes a little bit, but to get him back out there, and the reception he received is obviously thoroughly deserved, and hopefully he gets a couple of weeks of work now, hopefully play for the 21s in the week, get a few more minutes, and then we'll be able to use him slightly more.
David Brooks is such a good player at his best, as you know. Is there a danger in perhaps not being too protective to him and throwing him into the fray with every game so important?
No, there would always be, there's some real intelligent people at the football club that are experts in situations that we understand where Brooksy is, and we'll always keep Brooksy's best interests at heart always, so he'll only go on for as long and when he's ready.
Do you take some heart, Gary, about the fact you're still in there punching, whereas a lot of people wrote you off early in the season?
Not at this moment. I'm very disappointed at this moment that we didn't manage to take anything from a game that I felt we could. But we're right in the mix. We won't go away. We'll keep fighting. So we have a little 2 weeks now, and then some home games coming up that we need to take points from.
I know your game in front of you is vital, but when do you check the other scores, for example, today?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen them yet, but of course we have a look on the way home and check how the league table looks and how other teams got on, especially the ones that we're due to play soon. You obviously keep up to date with it, but from this morning till 5 o'clock is full focus on us.
Shan't spoil it for you then. I'll save you for the revelations in the coach.
Thank you.
You can see everything on Match of the Day tonight, 10:30.
So that's Mark Chapman, and that's what's happened so far today in the Premier League. This is John Murray. I am at Stamford Bridge. This is Radio 5 Sports Extra, and it is Chelsea 0, Everton 0 at half-time. First half was a half really mainly of Chelsea's opportunities. Kovacic Kovacic had an early shot wide of the right post. Kai Havertz has been involved in a couple of opportunities as well, but Felix, who had a shot from the edge of the box late on in the half, has been very bright. So was Christian Pulisic as well, making his first start for Chelsea since January the 5th. And the front three for Chelsea, some great interplay between the three of them, Felix, Havertz and Pulisic, which, even though it is still 0-0, I think many of the Chelsea supporters inside Stamford Bridge, I think, will be quite cheered and buoyed by what they've seen in terms of the style of play involving those three players. So as we wait for the teams to come out for the start of the second half, Chelsea, Kepa in goal, three central defenders, Fofana, Koulibaly and Badiashile, and then James on the right, Chilwell on the left, Fernandes and Kovacic together in the middle, and that front line that I mentioned of Pulisic, Joao Felix and Kai Havertz. And Everton, unchanged from their previous match, the 1-0 win against Brentford last weekend. So Pickford in goal, Coleman, Keane, Tarkowski and Godfrey are the back four. In midfield, Doucouré, Gay and Onana, and then Iwobi on the right, McNeil on the left, and Gray through the middle. Latest in the Rugby Union, the final match of this season's Six Nations, it is now Ireland 10, England 9, as Ireland go for the Grand Slam. That is over on Sports Extra right now. And Pat Nevin, former Chelsea and Everton and Scotland international, has just sat down next to me. So what are you thinking second half, Pat?
I think it's been quite a lively half. I mean, it's the 0-0 that everyone's been talking about. However, you know, there's been players that have been willing to go beyond. It's not been one of those dull ones that you've seen watched down at Stamford Bridge quite a lot over the past season, where lots of possession but, you know, no cutting edge. They're getting beyond, you know, the Everton defence a few times. But that's not to say that Everton are not having a big part of this game. When they get forward, they are pushing for numbers forward. They haven't created really any clear-cut chances at all, Everton. But you wouldn't be surprised in this second half, as a couple of players get a little bit tighter, that more gaps open up, that even more chances will come in this second half.
I can tell you that Manchester City have scored twice in 3 minutes. Both goals scored by Erling Haaland. So
really?
That's 7 this week now for him. And Manchester City lead Burnley by 2-0 with that match approaching half-time. So it looks as though Manchester City are set for the FA Cup semi-finals.
You wonder how many goals he can get between now and the end of the season. Considering he missed a few games as well, hasn't he, Haaland?
I've actually now lost count. Is that 41?
Something strange anyway. Yeah. I mean, you think about it, you know, great players in history that have never got to that, you know, in the Premier League history and on its own.
Yeah. But that's the point. That is the point, that we've seen players do that in other leagues. Obviously Messi and Ronaldo, you know, getting extraordinary numbers, but that's never really happened in the Premier League, to get, you know, sort of 40, pushing towards 50 and all that. But if he stays fit, he will do, you think.
You know, every chance of it. And the other thing is, I mean, Kane scores again, you know, today. He scored, I think he got 2 today, didn't he? And, you know, I think he's having another very good season with goal scoring. He hardly gets a mention. You know, he got a mention when he overtook Jimmy Greaves' record for goal scores for Spurs. But it just shows you how much Haaland has done, that he's just blowing everyone out of the water. He is an extraordinary phenomenon.
In actual fact, he's Harry Kane with that goal that he scored today. 1 goal it was for Kane today. You know, he's still just about in touch in the Premier League with Haaland, but in terms of his overall numbers. Anyway, Chelsea don't need to worry about that kind of thing, Pat, at the moment, with their top scorer yet to reach double figures this season.
You're going to say that Haaland scored more goals in Chelsea this season. Certainly in the league, Chelsea just over 1 a game.
He has, hasn't he? Yes, because Chelsea have scored 27 this season, so that is still the case. Here come Chelsea again. Just get to our feet to see if any sign of any changes, because obviously Pulisic took that bang on the head, but he is out there, isn't he? That's him on the halfway line in the orange boots. So he will continue at the start of the second half, and I presume Everton will say same again unless there's a problem. But out they come in their pink shirts and grey shorts and pink socks, and I must say, Pat, having not seen Sean Dyche's Everton live yet, it has on several occasions in that first half I've been tempted to call this team Burnley.
Yeah.
because he's on the touchline, and everywhere you look there seems to be a former Burnley player. So if I do that, you have my permission to put me right.
You know, we know certain coaches can do certain things with players, and often it is simplifying things. It's putting players in a position where they are comfortable, there's a physicality about them. It's not totally one-dimensional, but it's a very organised, structured way to get results when your team is limited in certain areas. He knows how to do that better than anyone else.
So that's Pat Nevin. This is BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. The second half begins. The score is Chelsea 0, Everton 0. It's Everton who kick off. They are playing as we look from high up here on the dressing room side of the ground. Everton playing from left to right, so Chelsea attacking towards the Shed stand. And still lots and lots of people, thousands of people, have not come back to their seats at the start of the second half. I wonder if the rugby is on televisions and the concourse, or maybe even Manchester City, Burnley, because that is odd that so many people have not come back to their seats at the start of the second half. 0-0, and the teams are indeed, as they started the match, as I read out just before the second half began. So Chelsea in possession, in the blue shirts, blue shorts with the white trim, white socks, and it is with Badiashile at the back, who will not be able to play against Real Madrid, not on the Champions League squad list. That's the problem of all of the arrivals. Somebody's got to miss out, as it's played forward and then Coleman hooks it forward, but that's out of play. Gray couldn't keep it in. It's a throw into Chelsea halfway inside their own half. And just to explain as well what is happening in the second half, so the rugby continues on 5 Live, where it is now Ireland 15, England 9. So Ireland 15, England 9, and Ireland to make a big move towards that Grand Slam. So that continues on 5 Live, and Sports Extra, we will take it through until things have been wrapped up in Dublin, and then this match will move onto 5 Live, and then 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will follow that. Here's Koulibaly down the left-hand side, controlled by Chilwell, and then Iwobi forces him to turn and use Kovacic, and then infield towards Fernandez. Enzo, as he has on the back of his shirt, plays it out to the right to James on his left foot. James with a cross. Keane though for Everton got his head to it, and the ball rolls over the line before Iwobi got there. Even though he whacked it away, it is a corner to Chelsea from the left.
Same deal as they were trying to do at the start of the first half. Chelsea get the wide players on it, get the ball to Chilwell on the left-hand side, then zip it across very quickly. But on the right-hand side, James will have a chance to get the ball crossed in as well. Chilwell then to take this in the corner of Stamford Bridge, closest to the Everton fans. Chilwell out swinger, which is cleared away behind by Onana, the Everton number 8, near the corner of the 6-yard box. The ball bounces against the first couple of rows of the Shed stand, the top tier. So it's back out of play for another corner from the left that Chilwell actually takes short this time to Pulisic, and then Pulisic has time to curl it in, and it's headed away for Everton. Comes out to James, he hits the shot. It's been charged down, and Doucouré got a fortunate break of the ball, and he runs away now with it and then plays it for the run of Gray, but the defender was there. Reece James followed Gray all the way, and actually Kovacic was very nearly caught in possession but did well and turned Doucouré and found James, and then James infield centrally to Felix. Now Pulisic on the left-hand side begins to move infield, plays the ball square right across the edge of the box to James. James then curls it in, headed down by Keane and away for Everton. Comes out to Kovacic. Good Chelsea pressure now. Chilwell whips one across. Havertz with a header, saved by Pickford. Just pushed it back out into the penalty area. And from that point of view, was fortunate that he was able to push it out to an Everton teammate, and they were able to clear. But Havertz going close with a header. But Everton coming forward with Gray and Iwobi on the left-hand side now, running at Fofana. Still Iwobi, a low shot, but lacking power. And Kepa was able to move to his right and just drop on it. Again, we have good pace to the game at the moment. We have to stop the game just now. I think Iwobi's gone down there, holding something. He's made about a 70-yard run, but the play from Chelsea, and left and right, they keep on getting out to those wide areas now. It's too easy for them. However, just what I explained at the start, the way that I almost say that they are Burnley. The way that Everton play, it's those four backs. They are like four centre backs. They go very, very tight as soon as they are defending. So they're almost saying, what kind of allow you to play across in? We back ourselves. That's possibly the first time that they've allowed a clean header. One in the first half, I think that was from Havertz, wasn't it? Again, Havertz there, but doesn't get enough power on it.
It will be having received treatment. Not entirely sure what happened to him.
I think he pulled up. I think it may well be he's strained maybe a thigh strain or something like that. The looks of things.
Well, he's making his way to this side of the field towards the dugouts, and he's not moving terribly well. And Sean Dyche is looking over his shoulder, and it looks as though that might be it. Then don't think they've absolutely decided, and he's actually changing his boots. That's an odd one for 5 minutes into the second half. Pulisic running away down the left-hand side. It will be changing his boots, so Everton are temporarily down to 10 men. Kovacic gets the ball under control and then hits a high pass, arcing out towards the right-hand side. James is there, and then, oh, lovely, played into Fernandes on the edge of the box, but Fernandes' shot is blocked on the edge of the area by Tarkowski, and it ricochets away out of play for a throw, and Iwobi comes back onto the field, looking a little more comfortable in his movement.
I think he probably ripped his boot. I think that's the problem.
So he had to change his boots. Chilwell takes on Iwobi, and Chilwell does get the cross in, but it's taken down easily, just patted down and gathered on the bounce by Pickford, who I think was impeded there on the edge of the box by Pulisic as he was trying to overarm it out. However, it did reach its intended destination, which was Doucouré, and now Gray goes around the outside of Badiashile, does well. Gray still going. Koulibaly then just got a foot in on it and was able to deflect it away, but he was nearly past him.
He was. Koulibaly, once again, he's done very, very well in this game. He's having probably the best period he's had in his Chelsea career the last 3 or 4 games.
Ireland 17, England 9. And Manchester City winning 2-0 in the FA Cup, the first of the quarter-finals. Very interesting lineup, isn't it? It could be, well, let's see, but by the time we get through tomorrow, the semi-final lineup could have quite an unusual look to it. Cross from the right. Fernandes plays it across. That's blocked. And then the low shot is in! João Felix! Pinpoint! In off the foot of the post! From an angle on the edge of the box! And Chelsea have come close, but now they've broken through the Everton defence. And early in the second half, they lead by 1-0.
I don't think you can make an argument against if any player deserves to score a goal in this game of football today. It's been João Felix, and listen to that reaction that he's getting when his name's announced there. Especially in unusual areas, he's controlled large parts of the play as a centre forward and as a false 9 as well. When the ball comes out to him, he's in a terrible position. You know, he's running away from goal. He takes a touch and just has it low, hard towards the corner, goes through legs, and when it goes through a pair of legs, the goalkeepers never seem to be able to save it because they cannot cover that area.
Fernandes, who started the move over towards the right-hand side, a high ball across, and then Chilwell arriving, first-time ball, came off a defender actually, back out to João Felix, but then Pat described the rest, and João Felix, with that low shot across the surface of the grass, gives João Felix his second goal for Chelsea.
Yeah, and it's strange when you look at it, he's hit the post maybe 3 or 4 times for Chelsea in his career already. There's a particular one in Dortmund he was very unlucky with. But he's hit the post again there. But this time he's hit the post and going in. Maybe his luck is changing. That's all he needed, really. A little bit extra luck.
So Chelsea make the breakthrough, and now the onus is on Everton, who've not won in 27 league visits here, who've not won away this season since October the 1st, who are just 1 point above the relegation zone. Now they've kind of sat in this game and tried to take their opportunity when it's come on the break, but the question is for Sean Dyche and for Everton, do they look to be a little more progressive?
They're going to have to at some point in the game.
But now or not, or later?
I don't think they'll change much.
No, well, I don't either.
I think they'll just use what they've been using so far. the physicality. They've got a chance now to put a free kick in. Onana was
free kick on the left, which is headed away. Those are the big opportunities for Everton. Tarkowski's involved. Iwobi drives it across the box. It comes off the chest of Keane, and he did all he could there. It flashed at him, and he just deflected it goalwards, but it was straight at Kepa.
And that's what they want. Get it in there. When the ball's, you don't need to win the first ball clean. You just need to make sure the defenders don't get it away with, pace, power, and height and distance. Chelsea weren't able to do that. A little bit of a ricochet, nearly got it. They have to keep on doing that. You do wonder, though, if Everton lose another goal, it could be curtains.
Fofana is bringing the ball forward, and he's played it up to Felix, who backheels it to Pulisic. Left foot shot, finds the net. But Felix was in an offside position when Fofana played it through to him. So the flag goes up, and the goal does not stand, and it's still Chelsea 1, Everton 0.
I think most people knew that before it was going to end. I think you did too, John, in many ways. Yes, he's made that run far too early, ran offside. Well organised defence there. I mean, he's probably 2 yards offside, but you have to say, when the ball comes back out there, it is a beautiful finish. Although, notably, Pickford didn't even make an effort.
Yeah, buried it, left foot.
I should have seen it again. It wouldn't have made any difference had he made an effort.
Close to it.
He wasn't getting near that.
Yeah. But a fine goal we have seen scored, or a well-taken goal, well struck, well directed by João Felix. So that is 2 goals now in 9 appearances for Chelsea. And as Pat says, I think he might have even hit the post or the crossbar in the second leg against Dortmund as well, unless my memory is confusing me.
They've had a run of it. I mean, Havertz has hit the post and the crossbar a couple of times as well. So within the variety of things that have been happening with Chelsea, they've not had an awful lot of luck either. However, this is a big moment for them. Can they survive?
Iwobi takes it down the right. Koulibaly comes across, caught him, says referee Darren England, in the full-back position. Yellow card as well for Koulibaly. Just a little late, really. That's all he was. And Iwobi had got a touch away past him. And Koulibaly late on the scene. So as you were describing in the first half, Pat, rather in the way that he was sent off, remember, at Leeds earlier in the season. Yeah,
I was at that game as well. And that's the problem. Going in for balls that you don't need to go in for. Now, he goes in for that, doesn't get it. There's no complaints, really. It's not a vicious, free kick. But it's in a dangerous area. All he had to do is show the player down the line. He didn't do that. He got carried away. Chelsea now in a difficult position. There's something going on as well. I think in the back post there, is it Fofana's got a slight problem? Or maybe he's calling over to the bench to say there's a difficulty.
Or is he pointing at...
Or who to be marked,
Yeah, no, that's what he is. He's pointing at Onana. Anyway, it's a free kick on the right. Chelsea lead Everton by 1-0. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Gray plays it in. Oh, that was so close to... Is it McNeil? Who very nearly got a touch on that. Or was it Keane? Running across the front of it, 6 yards out. It flashed past him. If he'd got a touch, it would probably have gone in from Michael Keane.
It was possibly slightly behind where he wanted it to be. But to be fair, that is by a distance, I would say, the best chance that Everton have had. And it just goes to show Koulibaly, one mistake there, giving it away there, almost cost his team badly.
Oh, Kovacic tried to pass the ball forward, and he got it wrong. His body language, it looked as though he was going to get it right, because he shaped himself nicely, but overhit it, so Pulisic couldn't run onto it. So just over half an hour to play, and Chelsea with the edge here. With this scoreline, heading for 4 wins in a row. Playing the ball out from the back, though, just now. Comes to Chilwell, over here, down below us. And then forward from Kovacic, who's overhit that. Graham Potter with a touch on his left heel. It's far stretched behind him.
Far too good a touch. Well, got it straight back to an Everton player.
Yes. Yeah. Not the Graham Potter I remember. I do remember. Did you play? You didn't play against him, Pat, did you? At the latter end of your career.
I think I might have.
Yeah. Latest in the rugby now, Ireland 24, England 14. And throw in for Everton. Coleman takes it short to Gray, and then forward again. Iwobi. Gray is onto this. He's away, but it's very congested centrally. And actually, Fernandez, I think, might have caught him there. Enzo Fernandez. He stayed down. Referee had a look, but wasn't given the free kick. Still, Everton come forward. That's a poor pass from Keane. Hits Pulisic and bounces out of play. And the Everton fans, you can hear them booing. Sean Dyche is not very happy as well. And a couple of the Everton players have gone to the referee.
I think the referee's got that right, though. It's just because there's been a couple of Everton players booked that, he's gone in to make a tackle there. It's not a vicious tackle anyway. It may well have been a foul, but it's not a big old thing. It's not a major, difficult one that is going to cause any danger to a player.
Everton, forward and high, headed away by Fofana, comes out to Iwobi. Iwobi gets his head down, takes on Fernandez, bounces to Gray. Damari Gray just turns. He's got Chelsea players either side of him and actually runs it out of play. And it's a throw into Chelsea halfway inside their own half.
Isn't it typical when Everton, having lost the goal, now are spending much more time in the Chelsea half? They're pushing up that much more. They know they have to have a little bit of a go. No, they're not. It's not gung-ho. I mean, not yet anyway. But Chelsea maybe they've taken the foot off it a little bit as well. And that's something that will give a little bit of a lift to Sean Dyche.
But it is Chelsea with Fofana who's bringing the ball forward at pace. Two Everton players converge on him, but it was a clean tackle. But now James has it on the right. James passes behind Chilwell, who flicks it into the box. Comes out, Kovacic with a shot, which is deflected by a defender up. And agonisingly, almost hung in the air, the ball, as it looped in slow motion almost over the top of the bar for a corner.
Well, Kovacic has learned from the first half. Just get it on target. If you get it on target, may get a deflection, you never know. In the first half, he tried to be too clever about it and caught a volley. He's getting into good positions now, Mateo Kovacic. A bit of an argument there between Kovacic and, is it Koulibaly? Bit of a fallout there. Yeah, that's, by the way, Pulisic, maybe no great surprise that he will come off just now. I've not played that many games recently.
Yeah, so Mudryk is going to come on to replace him.
Very similar blonde hair.
Yeah,
has to be said.
So on he comes, Conor Gallagher, to step into the game, the first substitute to come on for Christian Pulisic, as Pat says, did get that bang on the head from the free kick, defending the free kick in the first half. So Conor Gallagher is on, the number 23. Here's the number 21 for Chelsea, Chilwell, to take this out, swing it to the back post, which is headed up and over by Fofana. And he had Everton players either side of him, got right underneath it really and ballooned it over. It didn't threaten the goal.
He is good in the air though, isn't he, Fofana? A lot of defenders are good in the air defensively, but you look at Thiago Silva when he's playing. Fofana's a wee bit special too. And remember, he's very, very young. Real danger in the air.
Scored the goal in the last Premier League match here, Fofana against Leeds, as Badia Shield plays the ball across his own 6-yard box. Kepa passes it out. Here is Fofana again on the right-hand side. Low pass forward towards Havertz. Nice touch from him. Then won the free kick. Tarkowski. I think Havertz knew that Chelsea were going to lose possession there, and Tarkowski rather obligingly made contact with him and knocked him over, and it's a free kick.
Not much though. No. It's a little bit of a nudge, and I suspect that Tarkowski was not in agreement with that one, but I mean, at the moment there's a real bit of fight about Everton. They're not just rolling over and giving this one up, and that's good to see. Sean Dyche will be delighted with that, if nothing else.
So it remains 1-0. James is offside, pushing forward down the right, so a free kick to Everton. Remains 1-0. Recent Premier League matches here, Pat, as you will well know. So this one's 1-0. The last Premier League match here was 1-0, the Leeds match in which Fofana scored. The one before that, 0-1, when Southampton won. The one before that, 0-0 against Fulham. And the one before that, 1-0 against Crystal Palace. And the one before that, 0-1 against Manchester City.
Don't they do binary code? They don't do football results.
So, yes, I know, they've scored 2 in the match against Borussia Dortmund here, as Everton come forward, ball in from the left-hand side, and obviously won at Leicester 3-1 last weekend. But those scorelines are tighter than Chelsea and the regulars here would like.
Absolutely.
They would like today to see a change to that.
And what will happen with Chelsea, if they do get the second goal, they will completely change. They will relax. You'll see little flicks and tricks, and you'll see the real star quality some of those players have got. But you can't do that quite yet, not at 1-0.
So we've got 25 minutes to play. I guess it won't be too long before we make the switch over to 5 Live, so be aware of that. And to let you know as well, that isn't the end of the live sporting action on Sports Extra tonight, because from 8 o'clock this evening, Russell Fuller, who's in California at the Indian Wells Tennis, will have commentary on Daniel Medvedev against Francis Tiafoe. So that's from 8 o'clock tonight, once we've disappeared over to 5 Live. Chelsea coming forward. There's another foul centrally. Tarkowski saying that he got the ball against Felix, but referee says it's a free kick.
He's getting very upset just now, Tarkowski. He feels as if everything's going against him. I mean, he's not going through people and thumping people. There's nothing like that. Just little clips here and now and again. Well, actually, we'll see it in slow motion there. He is so unlucky. I think he gets the ball there, but his studs wear up.
So Chelsea take the free kick towards the edge of the box. Everton are able to clear it away. Kovacic, there's Gallagher getting involved for the first time. Now Chilwell on the left-hand side. Chilwell back to Badiashile, still halfway inside the Everton half, and then Gallagher is leaned into by Keane. They wanted a free kick for that. Referee England is saying no, so the ball bounces forward for Gray, and Gray taking on Badiashile. Gray plays a low ball in, but Kepa stretches forward, throws forward his hands, catches the ball cleanly after going to ground, and then underarms it out for James. And now here's Fernandes centrally. Havertz with the black gloves on comes short. Kovacic then rolls it out to the left-hand side to Chilwell, and then Chilwell curls one forward for Havertz, which is headed away by Tarkowski. Gallagher, though, couldn't get the bouncing ball under control, so Keane is able to clear. And Everton with McNeil halfway inside their own half. McNeil takes it out towards the far side. Gallagher is herring after him,
as he does.
Yes, that blonde hair bobbing, which adds to the effect. But Everton have done well, and they've worked it to the right-hand side. And Coleman will bring it forward, and the experienced Irishman, the captain, gives it to the right-hand side. Iwobi is there, and now square from Gay, and Onana to the left-hand side, and McNeil's ball across comes off the shins of James and rattles away into the advertising hoardings for Everton's first corner.
Well, a number of things are happening just now. Number one, you know, obviously the game is widening a bit, it's lengthening a bit, there's a bit more space, but it's often happened to Chelsea this season where they haven't finished very strongly. You know, there's a lot of tiredness around a number of the players. I'm beginning to see that in quite a few players in that Chelsea, and that must give the Everton players a little bit of a lift just now. There's a little bit of tiredness. And just inside the goal just now, the referee's going to have a word with that. It was almost a wrestling match inside the goal before he took the corner kick.
Yeah, so he's run across to have a word.
Try to see who it is. Is it Kovacic along with someone?
It is Kovacic and Doucouré. And that's been sorted out, or has it? They are actually staring at one another. Kovacic, here's the corner then, comes in, and the header across the penalty area came off Onana, but then I think glanced it onto a Chelsea body, and that's taken it behind for another corner from the right-hand side. The Everton fans are in good voice to our left.
Yeah, and so they should be. I mean, since Chelsea have scored, I would say Everton have been the better side. I mean, they've got themselves into situations where they get free kicks, corners, they're putting really dangerous balls in. We know that's what Sean Dyche's teams do, and they've got plenty of players in there to attack it. Onana more than anyone else.
Tom Davis is going to come on for Everton, but here's the corner, just played in by McNeil, headed across the box, was that over the line? It's been cleared away by Havertz. The referee says yes, the final touch took it over the line from Doucouré. The header across the penalty area after the initial corner came over, it found him on the far post, and even though Havertz on the line volleyed it away, the goal line technology says Doucouré scored, and it's Chelsea 1, Everton 1.
It's been coming ever since Chelsea's scored, and just a few moments ago I was saying that Chelsea were beginning to look tired. There's a weariness about it. Everton knew what they were doing. They were getting into good areas to put good crosses in right and left, and you knew at some point in time they were going to get a chance. They did get a chance there, a little flick on, and just for the angle, it's only inches over, but that doesn't matter. It's over, and from the balance of play since the goal, Everton have deserved it.
Everton equalising in the 69th minute. Tarkowski won the initial header, actually with his shoulder, deflected it goalwards into the 6-yard box. That's where Doucouré was, and a little glance from him took it beyond the line, even though Havertz was there to volley it away. As Pat says, there's not much in it. I suspect we might see on one of these screens shortly exactly how much there was in it. Play hasn't resumed yet because the Everton fans have thrown a pyro into the 6-yard area, so there's blue smoke belching out of that, and so we're still waiting for the restart. But it is 1-1.
I can understand why. Just before that, I think Everton got stronger. Obviously, they had to have a little bit of a go at it. They have had a go at it. But there were so many players in the Chelsea team that are beginning to look a little bit tired. I thought Potter may have made more than just that one change that he's made just now. He may have to think about it, because I suspect Everton tails are up. They fancy 3 points here.
Well, he was going to bring on Tom Davis, wasn't he, Sean Dyche? And he's told him to go and sit down again after the equaliser. And Doucouré, having scored in the 2-2 draw at Nottingham against Forest a couple of weeks ago, has now scored again.
You wonder if it was Doucouré was coming off then. He scored the goal, so keep him on. His tail will be up, his adrenaline will be up. He'll be feeling no pain.
You might just be right there, Pat. So it is Everton are as they were. Ireland 29, England 16 is the latest score in Dublin. As the ball bounces back to Kepa, who comes forward and claims it. And in the FA Cup, still 2-0 to Manchester City against Burnley. But 1-1 here, and Chelsea are being frustrated again. We're only able to get the 1 goal ahead against Everton, and they held the lead for only 14 minutes. And now Everton coming forward again, having not won away since October the 1st. Now thinking that they might be able to get a very, very rare win here at Stamford Bridge, but it breaks down on the edge of the home penalty area, and it's played forward by Fernandes for Havertz to take it on. Havertz, James is making a run ahead of him. Havertz now into the box on the right-hand side. Havertz turns the full 360 degrees and shoots from an angle, but straight at Pickford, who is able to get down, straight down, quickly pat it, and then fall on it.
Real frustration there from some other Chelsea players. Gallagher, Kovacic, Chilwell had all gone to the back post. When the angle that was trying to shoot from there, Havertz is very, very unlikely to score from there. There's plenty of blue shots up. This game is wide open, and there's no argument. It could go either way. And Chelsea's certainly not massive favourites to win it from here, because there's a real belief in this Everton team just now.
So 1-1. Chelsea with Kovacic, and then couldn't find Gallagher, and it rolls out of play.
That midfield's now being won, isn't it, by Everton. I mean, they're battling, they're chasing, they don't look as if they're tired at all. The control that Chelsea had over the ball for large parts of the first half, that's gone now. That's completely gone now.
Gallagher playing it infield for Kovacic, but too many there. However, Iwobi has passed it straight to Havertz. And now Kovacic to the right-hand side to Fofana. And Fofana sends Reece James off running down the right. Across comes Godfrey, and Felix tries to give it back to James, who's challenged, brought down. It's a foul, and referee England says penalty. There were 2 defenders who came in on Reece James there. He was caught, and it is a penalty to Chelsea, and a chance for Graham Potter's side to move back in front.
Yeah, they will have a look at it, as they always do. Once again, is it that man Tarkowski? He's been at the middle of most things that have been tackles, and he's feeling furious. I would question about a possible offside before it, though. James played a little bit of a 1-2. Was he offside when he ran into that area? It must have been extraordinarily tight when it was played into him. I have to say, my first thought was it was offside. We'll have a look to see if Tarkowski gets in the ball. Do you know what? It's only 2 players that have taken James out.
First Godfrey, then Tarkowski.
Yeah, it wasn't one, it was the other.
But you're right, Pat, maybe VAR will be having a look.
I think the only possibility Everton have got here is offside. That's the only possibility. Because other than that, neither player got the ball, and both players got Reece James, who hasn't got into that position very often so far in the game, but managed to do so there to great effect.
Interesting though, Havertz again, just like the Dortmund match here, Havertz has got a long time to think about this. Chelsea's new penalty taker.
They are looking at this offside. I'm sure they're looking at it.
We've not seen a good angle yet, have we? But
I felt it. Yeah. When it was played, I thought, whoa, that looked a wee bit iffy, that.
So hang on, Everton's players, there are 3 or 4 of them near the referee, who's still inside the the penalty area. Havertz is still wandering around with the ball in his hands. Now he's bouncing it on the ground. Yes, it is. It's a penalty. A tight one, but James was onside. So Havertz, now remember the match here against Borussia Dortmund, when he had a long time to think about it then, because VAR looked at that one as well, because it was for the handball, if you remember, in the Champions League match, then hit the post, and then it was retaken for encroachment, and he scored it going exactly the same way. On both occasions, it was to what will be Pickford's left here, this in front of the shed stand. Pressure moment now, Pat.
Yeah, it's a long time waiting, as you say, but that is the modern game just now. If you get a penalty kick, it won't be taken right away. It will always be checked. So it's part of learning. You have to be able to do that. Get it in mind what you're going to do, and don't change your mind. And Pickford now, a little bit of gamesmanship from him. Who can blame him?
The referee's gone to talk to him. Jordan Pickford's just walked straight past him and started jumping up and down. Pickford, as we know, as I'm sure you'll know, has got a very good record, penalty saving wise. Havertz waiting. So this to restore Chelsea's lead. This for Kai Havertz to score in a third consecutive match. He's standing behind and to the right of the ball. Looks at the ground. Chelsea were pegged back by Everton. But now, Kai Havertz with his left foot. Little steps, up he comes, slight delay, and then sends it high! Scores! This one into the top corner. Pickford went down to his right, went the wrong way. And Chelsea are indeed back in front. 2-1.
Well, real confidence with that penalty. He saw lots of little steps, waiting for the goalkeeper to make a move, and eventually Pickford does make a move. Goes to his right. Havertz has got the wherewithal to be able to put it to his left there very comfortably. But that all came from the fact that Reece James was willing to make that run. He hasn't got past Godfrey much at all this evening, but when Chelsea needed him, they got him. Godfrey, he dived in, Tarkowski dived in, and between the two of them, they brought him down. And Chelsea, when they looked as if they were running out of steam, they decided to up the pace again. What happened to those binary scores?
Yes, the 1-0s and indeed the 0-0, they're consigned to history, that run of home Premier League matches for Chelsea. And Kai Havertz has just scored his 9th goal of the season. Jordan Pickford, even though those 2 penalties here against Dortmund went, as the penalty taker looked, to the right, Pickford went the other way, went to the right, gambled it, but by that stage, that little delay, Havertz knew that Pickford had committed and just put it the other way.
I actually don't know if Kai Havertz has ever missed a penalty. I'll have to look into that, but certainly not for Chelsea.
Well,
he missed one, but it was retaken.
But it was retaken, yes, so he scored it.
Yeah. I'm not sure he has missed a penalty.
Well, they had a brilliant penalty taker, didn't they, in Jorginho, who did miss the odd one, but not many.
Oh, his numbers were absolutely fantastic.
Amazing, yes.
You know, the confidence in Havertz, and what a lift that'll give to him. You know, I've seen by many as a centre forward, though that's not his best position. He's now out clear as Chelsea's top goal scorer.
So Everton have got to come from behind for a second time. As I say, they did get a 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest just a fortnight ago, and we've had some funny scores today, some comebacks in the Premier League in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and now we've got a coming together. There's been a clash of heads in the Chelsea box. Onana and Fofana. It is.
I don't think anyone's arguing that it was anything other than
And Fofana got to his feet and now has sat down, and actually is now feeling cramped. He's getting treatment from cramp. And Everton are going to make their first change. So not Tom Davies, who was preparing to come on before Everton made it 1-1. In fact, it's Alice Sims, the young striker who was at Sunderland in the first half of this season, who is going to come on, the 22-year-old.
He's coming on for Gay, which is interesting, because that's, an out-and-out striker, isn't it? For a player who's sitting midfield, so more of a 4-4-2, you would suspect, something closer to that, maybe a 4-3-3.
Yeah, although
but Sims has certainly got a lot of pace and a lot of power, hasn't he?
Yeah, Gray could go wide, couldn't he? And Iwobi could go into the central area where he can play. But Everton with the throw. Here it is, attempted flick on by Onana, and then behind him Sims tried to get his first touch, but there were Chelsea players either side of him, and it was cleared away. Just over 10 minutes to go, and it is Chelsea 2, Everton 1.
I've seen a bit of Sims play, and the raw material is all there. It's all there. You know, he's got the physicality, he's got the speed, he's certainly got the height, you know, he's got a real willingness and a good attitude towards the game as well. he needs to come up to this level and try and score some goals for Everton Football Club. He's only got 10 minutes to do something about it, but he can make himself a hero.
Yet to score for Everton, for the first team in a competitive match, Ellis Sims. This is only his 7th appearance. Here's Iwobi, plays it forward for Gray, who is on the right-hand side now. Gray up against Chilwell. And Manchester City have doubled their lead. They're now 4-0 up on Burnley. And yes, he has.
He's not
both of them. As Iwobi plays it into the box and it's cleared away. Haaland has got his 6th hat-trick of the season, and Alvarez has scored the other. So 4-0 Manchester City leading. This match in the balance, Chelsea just with the edge as Fofana tries to Badiashile tries to shatter the ball behind, and in a little bit of frustration Coleman actually sweeps his legs away and he falls over the line.
That frustration, you know, when the ball's been played out, I can remember probably 2 inches away from where that happened there, myself once doing that to Kevin Ratcliffe. He's so frustrated because they won't play the ball. So yeah, you maybe have a wee sly with
Chelsea Everton from times past.
Yes, quite
with
some
Pat
time.
Nevin and Kevin Ratcliffe. I wonder if Kevin's listening tonight and might remember that. As Kovacic is going to make way, as Graham Potter brings on Ruben Loftus-Cheek into the midfield, and we have 10 minutes to go. Ireland have won the Grand Slam, by the way. Final score confirmed as Ireland 29, England 16. So Ireland Grand Slam winners and Six Nations champions for 2023. So they'll be wrapping that up on 5 Live, and once they've done that, we'll be taking over for the final minutes of this match, where I think it might still be alive. 2-1 the current score. Loftus-Cheek coming on for Kovacic, Pat.
Yeah, but that's not an ultra positive thing. I mean, Loftus-Cheek, although can get forward, he's not as dangerous a player going forward generally as Kovacic has been recently. He's somewhere to kill the space.
Nice touch from Doucouré out to the left-hand side. McNeil, low shot right across the 6-yard box. Sims was not far away from getting a touch on that, but across Kepa and beyond the far post.
Do you know what? I think that is fabulous goalkeeping, because the ball's swinging across there. If the ball goes across there and maybe Kepa gets a hand on it, that's when Sims gets the tap in, isn't it? He's seen that, Kepa, and he's let it go past him to go out for a goal kick, but he needs to have his angles absolutely spot on there. It was either very, very lucky or very, very good goalkeeping.
Goal kick then to Chelsea, and Kepa in no hurry here. If he delays this any longer, there'll be a card. Darren England's looking across.
He got a card recently, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and I think he might have been distracted by the fact Everton are thinking about making another change. Mikolenko is going to come on. Here's Felix, who gets the ball down. Keats committed himself there and just got a touch. Gallagher, oh, that's excellent. He's away from 2 men down the left-hand side. Conor Gallagher into the box, but then crosses it into the shins of Keane, and it bounced back onto Gallagher and behind for a goal kick.
He's got absolutely no right whatsoever to win that one. Gallagher chased it through 3 different players and managed to get another end. Lucky enough to get a half chance from it. But Everton are going for it now. They're trying everything they possibly can at the moment.
2-1 Chelsea. Seamus Coleman is coming off, so he's just gone across to give the captain's armband to Jordan Pickford before running off the field on the halfway line, and it is the Ukrainian defender Vitaly Mikolenko who is going to come on. So Ben Godfrey coming across to play at right back, and Mikolenko will go over towards the left-hand side. He's in the squad for the match against England next weekend. Both of those England matches you'll be able to hear on 5 Live. Their first Euro qualifiers for the finals in Germany next year. As Gallagher backs away on the halfway line. Iwobi played it forward. Fernandez back to Koulibaly. Koulibaly on his right foot, then Long on his left. This is Felix to chase. Tarkowski overhead kick away, headed forward by Gallagher, and then Keane comes across to head it out via a deflection off Chilwell for a throw-in to Everton.
That's a good thing for Everton. They get Mikolenko on the left-hand side. He has a left full-back, very natural, but he gets forward, and he's got a good left foot as well. So once again, from Son Dice, as positive a move as I think he can make at this point in time.
So 2-1. It was 1-0 when João Felix shot Chelsea in front 7 minutes into the second half. Doucouré with the little header following the corner that goal line technology confirmed was over the line. That made it 1-1. But Kai Havertz with the penalty after Reece James was fouled by a combination of Godfrey, well, first Godfrey and then Tarkowski. There was a delay while we waited to find out if he had been onside, but he was. So 2-1 it is to Chelsea, who are going for 4 wins in a row. But Koulibaly's given it to Sims, and Sims shoots from 22 yards, but straight into Badiashile. And now Onana to the left-hand side, Mykolenko just onto the field. McNeil trying to give it back to Mykolenko, but it is watched behind, and there's applause there, not only from the stands, actually, but also from one or two of his players as well, for the way it was shepherded behind by Reece James.
Yeah, Fofana needed a little bit of help there. We got that little bit of help. I think Fofana looks tired. I think Reece James looks a bit tired up there as well. So changes will be made, and they won't be positive ones for Chelsea. They'll be negative, trying to hold on to this.
Double change it is. Chelsea bringing off Fofana at the back, so Trevor Chalobah is coming on for him.
Joe Felix will come off. And again, is it Chukwuemeka? I'm trying to see if it's Chukwuemeka who's going to come on. Down there, I think it is Garnet Chukwuemeka. Going to come up for Joe Felix. Who's got we'll get a rousing reception, Joe Felix. He does tire at the end of games, but that's only because he puts so much in. He puts everything he's got and then runs out of juice. He's now beginning to last about 85 minutes. He's nearly there.
It's going to be very interesting to see if he'll be here next season. When he spoke before the Borussia Dortmund game, very much the impression was given that if Chelsea are in the Champions League next season, then he might be here. If they're not, he might not.
The thing is, if you're a player and you're playing somewhere where you're highly rated, the fans love you, the manager wants to play a lot to play through you, it's a very, very tempting thing to take, you know, whether Chelsea are in the Champions League or not.
So Chukwuemeka, the 19-year-old, is on into the midfield for Chelsea. 2-1 their lead. Not long to go, actually. Just 3.5 minutes to play, plus added time. Chelsea coming forward. And Havertz takes it out to the right-hand side. And then a turn by Gallagher, but McNeil comes in with a challenge, and it bounces out of play. So if Five Live do join us, it will very much be for the closing stage.
It will be for seconds.
Before 6:06. I guess.
You know what? They might hear something or see, get something very exciting, because you feel there's something else to come in this game, don't you?
Yes.
You know, there has been a lot that's happened in the second half, but there looks like there could be at least chances for each side.
Although I suspect on Five Live might be concentrating on Irish celebrations on St. Patrick's Day weekend. Patrick?
Yes. I got the cards as usual.
Did you? Ball played forward for Godfrey, for Everton. Haven't given up on this yet. Don't think they're going to be able to end their streak without a win away, but they might be able to get something. And there will be a free kick though for Chelsea after Chilwell was leaned over by Gray, who was running with him. And it's a free kick for
Well, he's running out of gas again. Chilwell there in Gray. He's really put a shift in. It's a case of our former Leicester players more strong than your former Leicester. In fact, there's lots of former Leicester players if you look around out there today. But that's been a good battle between the two. I actually think Demarai Gray's had a very, very good game.
Yeah, good. He has. And another one on the bench as well, Kante, who we're not going to see today, former Leicester player. As Everton played for, Chelsea played forward, but Everton clear away. There will be 6:06 to follow on 5 Live, by the way, once this match is over, if you want to talk about it, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, another former Leicester player. And Chelsea with it on the left. Here's Gallagher. In goes Onana with the challenge. Everton find Iwobi then goes long, but over the top of Sims. And Kepa, who's outside of his penalty area, takes a touch on that, but then gets rid of it quickly. But there's no one there in blue for Chelsea. Mykolenko chests that down. We might see that next weekend. Mykolenko against James, as we did a few moments ago in the qualifier. Sims receives it. Sims goes round. Koulibaly and scores! Kepa got a touch on it, but couldn't keep it out. And Ellis Sims scores his first senior goal for Everton, and brilliantly so too. Rounded Koulibaly, still had a lot to do, but Kepa couldn't keep it out, and Everton have come from behind for a second time. It's 2-2 at Stamford Bridge.
I said to you earlier on there that Sims has got all the raw material you need for a top-class centre-forward. He's got pace, he's got power, he's a natural goal scorer. He showed every single bit of all of that there. He's up against Ballin there, and he's just shrugged them off, went straight past him, kept it low, gets a hand to it, Kepa, but he does all the right things there in Everton. Oh, we expected maybe a possible draw, but we didn't expect 2-2 today. And we did say a few moments ago there would be chances between now and the end of the game. There was only 3 or 4 minutes to go. Well, we got another one.
2-2 then, just like the match at Nottingham Forest for Everton a couple of weeks ago. And Kepa will feel that having got as much on it as he did, he'll probably feel that
I think if I was a manager, I'd be looking at my defender.
First of all.
Yeah, absolutely first thought before everything.
So, 5 Live about to join us for the final seconds. And it is 2-2. So, Chelsea with the ball inside their own half. And we are in added time. It has been a dramatic second half. 0-0 at half-time. Chelsea twice in front, and Everton have twice come back to make it 2-2. And we've just seen the second goal, which is his first senior competitive goal for Everton, from young Ellis Sims, the striker, 22 years old, who was on loan at Sunderland this season, but was recalled in January, and he's just scored a very good goal. He had a lot to do, but Chilwell coming forward, and Havertz with a header, but couldn't head it goalwards, headed it sideways, got up well, but Everton were able to clear. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really, really good second half. Everton aren't really lucky here. They've really put themselves in this game. They've done all the right things, and all the changes that have been made in this second half by Sean Dyche have all worked. Really positive changes, and it's been a really good game. It's not over yet, and Chelsea have now got a corner.
It is not over. James has won a corner from the right-hand side. So Chelsea twice in front through Felix, and from Havertz's penalty, Doucouré with a little header that was given by goal line technology, actually. And then Ellis Sims, who rounded Koulibaly brilliantly, and then still had a lot to do. Shot goalwards from the left-hand side, but the Kepa got a touch, couldn't keep it out. Here's the corner for Chelsea. Pickford comes, it's actually headed away by Tarkowski. 606 is coming, by the way, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton to talk about what's been a really eventful day, actually, with all of the goals in the 3 o'clock matches in the Premier League and elsewhere. And 2-2 here. Many were expecting at half-time that it might well finish 0-0 between these two, but not a bit of it. And we've had some excitement in the second half here at Stamford Bridge. And James with a cross from the right, but that's headed away by Tarkowski back out towards the far side. Pat Nevin.
I mean, such a good second half anyway. You don't want it to finish. Well, you say that. There are a few Evertonians that would want it to finish just now. They were taking a point before the game, and at the moment they are clinging on with everything to try and get this precious point.
Yeah, for Chelsea it would be another step back, wouldn't it, after good steps forward recently, the 3 wins in a row, and twice in this match. It had the look of them being on the way to victory. Chelsea had all the chances in the first half, some really bright play, Felix and Pulisic and Havertz as well. But Everton, they've got a bit about them under Sean Dyche and might be about to grind out another important point. Here's Fernandes, right-footed ball into the area, that's headed away, further away by Godfrey, only half cleared. Fernandes is back on it, Chelsea's number 5, right-footed ball high towards the far side. James takes that down, takes on McNeil, beats him, and then McNeil catches his ankles, brings him down. Free kick to Chelsea in the Everton left-back area.
Torture for Everton. They've worked so hard defensively. Now even the wide players, they're back. It's almost a back 6 when they've lost the ball there. Chelsea have got almost everyone. There's only 2 players in blue outside the box, and they're standing beside the D. Everyone forward for Chelsea, trying to get these extra 2 points.
4 minutes of added time played, very nearly. Deep in added time. James to take this free kick. Everton have everyone back. Everyone's inside their own penalty area. James plays it to the edge of the box. Havertz peels away, chests it down, comes to Chukwuemeka, square from him. Fernandes now to the right-hand side, back to James. James attacking McNeil, into the box now, drags it back, takes on to the byline, clips it across. Havertz with a header, drops just wide. He had players either side. It came off a defender. It's a corner.
Yeah, no, Kai Havertz. I don't think he was calling for a corner kick there. Everton fans right behind that goal are fuming. They didn't think it was a corner kick. But it's another bit of pressure that can be put on. Havertz has tried to take it quickly. He's run through their own corner flag.
Yeah, it's over this side. Kai, he'll have to get rid of that ball, which he does. Pats it behind. So Chilwell to take it from the left-hand side. This could be it. This could be the last chance. 2-2 the score. Chilwell delivers it deep to the back post. A deflected header goes wide. Defender got in the way.
I mean, considering how good Everton are defending from set pieces, Chelsea have caused them a lot of problems here tonight. Good ball in there. There's another deflection and more torture for the Everton fans.
Barry Shield it was with the effort that was deflected wide. So another corner. This from the right-hand side. Here it is, the delivery from Chilwell, headed away at the near post, will come out to the edge of the box, but it's too late for Chelsea. Fernandes shoots wide in any case, but the final whistle goes, and it's another excellent point for Everton under Sean Dyche. 2-2 the score. Frustration for Chelsea after leading twice in the second half, but Everton squeeze out another point. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the season, with what's happening in the league just now, I mean, it's gigantic for Everton. I mean, to be behind twice, away from home, against what is a very good team, they just wouldn't let go. They kept fighting back. They adapted. That's the thing. People can say they like about Sean Dyche, about, you know, the tactics maybe a bit simplistic sometimes. Not a bit of it. When he had to change, he did change it, and I mean, that's certainly the last change he makes. He brings on Sims, and we've seen a bit of him before. And as I said to you in the commentary, John, he has got all the raw material to be a top-class centre-forward. He just, boy, did he put it together all at one time to get that point. Fantastic for him, and a great point for Everton.
So the Everton players, they're showing some real spirit down there in front of the Everton fans in the shared stand. Felix and Havertz with the penalty for Chelsea, Doucouré, and then Sims for Everton with his first senior competitive goal for the club. So that is 3 matches unbeaten now for Everton. For Chelsea, pegged back again, dropped points at home for the 3rd time in the last 4 home Premier League matches. It finishes here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Everton 2.